Today I want to share with you one paragraph that you can use to answer at least 8 topics of IELTS Part 2 questions. This story is totally original and you can feel free to incorporate it into any of your personal stories as long as you find it suitable. So it can be adapted to the following topics: an interesting neighbor, a person you enjoy talking with, a person you follow on social media, something you received for free, home of someone you often visit, a time when you shared something with others, a time when you needed to search for some information, a time when you tried something difficult and had a positive result. So I'll take the interesting neighbor as an example. So let's get started. Well, I'd like to talk about my neighbor who is a young lady about 30 years old. I actually had known very little about her, but because of the second round of the breakout of the pandemic several months ago, we were all locked down at home, so we had more communications with our neighbors. One day, my mom was preparing for dinner and we found that we were short of scallions, which is a necessity in Chinese cooking, So she wanted me to borrow some from our neighbors. And I knocked on my next door and the girl opened the door. She introduced me to her balcony. To my surprise, she grew several pots of scallions on her balcony. I found it so amazing, so I asked her how she managed to do that. She told me that it was a complicated process. At first, she used the soil and dirt to grow the scallion, but the leaves grew drier and drier and eventually they died. So she researched online and she found that using water instead of the soil to grow this kind of scallions could be easier to be successful. So I found this story quite interesting and I could sense the passion in her when she told me about this. And later she gave me one of the pots of the scallions and she taught me how to water them regularly. And from then on, I visited her very often and we would exchange our thoughts and experience on planting things at home. I found it quite interesting and it's necessary to master some kind of gardening skills just in case.